Welcome to Expertsoft. Detailed overview on SAP S4HANA Advanced Planning, ePPDS, module. Training duration, 30 hours. For training content, please visit our website. Link is provided in the description.
Let's start with the S4 PPDS. Coming to the agenda. So we will, in this session, we will try to understand there are people who are just new to supply chain and they have a basic understanding. So I'll start from the basics. Okay, we'll understand what is a supply chain, who are the stakeholders in supply chain. Let's also understand few challenges in managing the supply chain and where SAP comes into picture in managing the supply chain, and what is S4HANA, what is the roadmap of S4HANA. And to understand S4 PPDS, it's always it is necessary to understand PPO first, and then we will understand what is S4HANA and how is it different from our standard PPO. Okay, and we'll also understand some implementation options of this S4HANA product and how do you deploy S4HANA product. Okay, so as you all know, the supply chain is like it starts from the supplier and ends with the customer, and between there are stakeholders that you see here. It starts with the supplier and then it goes to distributor and then to the manufacturer, and then from the manufacturing to retail and then to consumer. Okay, so always there is a chain where the goods flow from supplier to the customer, and there is a cash flow from the consumer to the vendor. Or
Arvind, could you please keep the PPT in the presentation mode?
Yes, can you, are you not able to see my screen?
Now it's gone actually.
Are you able to see this PPT screen?
No, it got stopped now actually.
I'm resharing my screen again. Let me know once you all see. Are you able to see?
Yes, we can see now. Yeah.
Okay. So as I mentioned, supplier, distributor, manufacturer, wholesaler or a retailer, and then consumer. So these are all the stakeholders that we have in a supply chain. It is nothing but how the product moves from the raw material state to the final product stage, and once the final product is manufactured, how it goes to the end customer and the whole chain. Okay, this is nothing but a supply chain. These are all the stakeholders involved in a basic supply chain. Okay, and you must have came across all these terminologies, and we will see how SAP is going to come into the picture and the role of SAP, how we are going to manage the supply chain. Why do we need to manage a supply chain? For example, sometimes the challenges in a supply chain or even managing the supply chain becomes very complex depending upon the company, because it is involved with manufacturing of products from different locations within the country or outside the country and transporting them. Speaking about vendor challenges in identifying the right vendor who is reliable and also cost effective, and also transport wise you need to see the distance and cost of the transport, inventory management, material management, even production planning. Sometimes you need to manage your capacities of maintenance of the plant or maintenance of the resources involved with cost, and maintenance of inventory space, right? And distribution of products from supplier to consumer. There are a lot of distribution centers, wholesalers, retailers. So all these locations has to be connected, right? It is too much complex. Just speaking about one network itself, it is too much complex, and we need an optimized solution. And we need a not just a record keeping system, but also a system to efficiently plan all the processes that we are following within a supply chain, right? Then here comes our SAP, which is an advanced tool in planning our managing and also planning, executing our supply chain process. Okay, let us see what is SAP. SAP is an enterprise business software that helps to assist organization in managing their supply chain process. Okay, so simple with SAP, it will be very simple to manage because you can map all these entities that we just saw in the previous screen. SAP allows us to maintain the real-time information, okay, of all the vendors, retailers, or distribution centers, plants, resources. All this real-time information data SAP allows us to manage, allows us to maintain, and based on the real-time inputs that we give, give about this data, and we can plan. We have a programs within SAP where you can plan the supply chain more efficiently. When it, especially this PPDS is focused on production planning part and scheduling part. So we'll focus our concepts more on that. Okay, not only just planning in the production in the PPDS, it will also allow us to optimize the plan. Not just giving the plan, we can also optimize time, cost effective solutions for any supply chain challenges that we are facing. Okay, we can also reduce our waste while manufacturing or in production, and you can SAP also provides a lot of user reports which allows us to which allows for further analysis or performing even analytics on top of the reporting data that we got from our SAP. Okay, SAP, there are a lot of modules in SAP. The initial standard, as we know, we have a SAP ECC where there are different modules like PP, MM, SD, FI, and production planning, material requirement planning, sales and distribution, finance, and we also have a plant management. So all these are the modules which comes under ECC. And there is an SAP APO. It is called as Advanced Planning and Optimization, where there are functionalities which are not there in ECC, and SAP APO is just a planning system. You cannot execute the plan, but is purely a planning system where you generate the plan and send it back to ECC. Send the planning supply chain plan to ECC and then execute it there. Okay, we'll understand what is a plan, what is difference between planning and execution in further slides. And you have the product called S4HANA. It is also a new generation business enterprise software where it is used both the planning, the advanced functionalities of APO, which used to be in APO, are carved out and put it into the same system or integrated system. We call it an embedded system where you see the advanced functionalities as well as a normal functionalities that you see even in a SAP ECC. Both are present in the same system, that is S4 HANA. And you have IBP, which is again a replacement for SAP APO. And we also have a SAP Fiori, which is a UI enhanced, which provides an enhanced user experience. It's a UI. A lot of UI apps are available for each and every supply chain functionalities that you usually plan or usually use in any supply chain process all over. Okay, so just stop me if you have any queries or if you feel that I'm going too quick. Okay, let us understand what is SAP S4HANA, how is the architecture here. Okay, how SAP evolved, S4HANA evolved. Okay, as I mentioned, it is a new generation business suite, and in early, if you see in 1973, the SAP came up with SAP R1. Okay, and then R2, and then the evolution is to R3, which have a client server architecture and with a better graphical user interface. Okay, then came up with ERP in early 1999 or 2000. Between that period, it came up with ERP, which included multiple modules like PLM, SCM, CRM. Okay, client, okay, product lifecycle management, supplier relation management, and customer relationship management. All these modules are also included in ECC, which were not part of earlier modules, earlier systems like R1, R2. Okay, now you're seeing this. Okay, ERP is replaced together, and now this ERP is becoming to S4 HANA. The parts of APO like PPDS and GATP are brought into the same system, which are embedded into this ECC part, and now we are calling it as S4 HANA. Here we don't need two separate systems, one for planning and one for executions. Both are available within the same systems, along with the advanced functionalities or advanced capabilities that you used to have in SAP APO. Okay. So let us understand more advantages of S4 HANA. Okay, S4 HANA is an in-memory platform. What do you mean by in-memory platform? Anybody have any idea?
Yeah, it's basically calculating on the fly on a database. So basically, it's not actually calculating on the main database table, but it's on the fly on the cloud.
Exactly. So here the calculation happens within the database layer itself. I mean, we don't have to carry the data from layer to layer for the manipulation or calculation. Everything happens within the database. So this is a columnar database, which is different from Oracle or any other no, uh, based on row, but this is a columnar database. So this is a S4HANA is a DB. Okay, that is an in-memory platform. Okay, the calculations are much faster when compared to any other DB. Okay, and we also have a SAP warehouse powered by S4HANA, where you can perform real-time analysis of the existing data. As I mentioned, users are going to input the real-time data of either it could be plant information, work centers information, or material related, vendor related. All these are we are going to have a real-time information. So it helps us to give the real-time insights of the data. Either it could be reporting or it could be the analytics that you can perform on top of that the data that they provided, which comes under SAP Business Warehouse. Okay. Now, what it meant by powered by S4 HANA? Earlier in any other SAP, coming to SAP ECC or any R2, R1, R3, these systems can run on other DBs as well. Okay, like Oracle database, they can run on Oracle database. But coming to S4 HANA, this runs only on SAP HANA database. Okay, this is a you're getting it right. We cannot run this S4 HANA product connected to any other Oracle database. It purely runs on S4 HANA. Okay, where you can perform OLAP and OLTP online analytics process, and as well as a online transactional processes. Okay, and Simple Finance is also integrated part of S4 HANA, which is a major advancement and major functional changes has happened in the finance module, especially the S4 HANA, which is even more efficient when you compare to our previous versions of ECC. Okay, and S4 HANA, there are a lot of simplifications happened in S4 HANA, like many transactions are obsolete, and security wise also there are only specific roles which can be assigned to users coming to the Fiori apps. They can only access whatever they are designated to use, like any applications, or data wise also data redundancy is reduced, because we have tables in APO, you have tables in ECC. There could be redundant tables in both the systems. As it is brought into the same system, many tables, unnecessary tables are reduced, and number of screens the users has to move from while planning the supply chain process. They don't have to use multiple transactions to do the whole process in the system. So that has been reduced, and user experience has been improved by integrating adding Fiori on top of the S4 HANA, which will give, there are a lot of analytics apps and lot of reporting apps within the Fiori, within the SAP Fiori Launchpad. So this is another new advancement in S4 HANA. So these are all the additional features and user experience, better user experience when compared to older versions of either ECC or any other SAP ERP software that we are talking. Okay, and you can be deployed. Choice of deployment we will see in the future slides. I will go there. Okay, so these are all the options that we already discussed right now. Okay, it enables a seamless adoption. Actually, implementing S4 HANA is not much difficult. Okay, it involves easy deployment of S4 HANA product, and it is also a single source of truth, where you don't have to take the license of multiple systems, like one for planning, one for execution. You don't have to have multiple licenses within the one system. You will have all the planning and data related to the execution as well within the same system. And uh, flexibility, talking about flexibility, uh, just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, talking about flexibility, as we mentioned, this is a real-time information. As we have the real-time information within the system, SAP provides various modules, like PPDS. We have AATP. We call it AATP. We have, and we also have all the other modules which can be implemented or configured to any kind of industry that we are speaking about within the same product can be configured in multiple ways so that it suits the requirements of various industries, and it can also provide the insights on the data which we discussed in our previous slide, much faster calculations with much faster data retrieving capabilities, right? So all these are the capabilities of S4 HANA. If you see, so when it is compared, it says 1800 times much faster analytics and reporting and 4 times less process steps. As we discussed in our previous slide, process steps has been reduced, data redundancy is reduced, and calculations and reporting are much faster. Okay. So any questions so far?
I got one question regarding the Fiori actually. So is that possible to run Fiori offline?
Fiori offline, I don't think Fiori offline. There is no on-premise. That is a cloud product.
Yeah, because it's not much on Google actually, but one of the aerospace company, what the requirement was, they were working with the highly explosive materials, and they did not want any RF connection or any internet capabilities in terms of keeping secrets. I think it's in America. I don't know exact company, but what they have done is they developed some offline Fiori apps and to basically inventory to do the inventory of some warheads and also the goods movement. So I'm just wondering, what concept is that?
As far as I'm aware, the Fiori is a cloud product, which is a UI actually. Fiori is clearly developed on UI 5, right? So they have a lot of analytical apps, but as far as I know, this is a cloud product. We need an internet connection. And without that, I don't think we can be able to execute, but I'm not sure. As far as I know, this is what I understood. Okay, a lot of analytical apps and reporting apps are there which populates different charts of either it could be performance of a resource or it could be performance of a sales data of a particular material. We can throw a lot of analytics into the data and see the pie diagrams, chart diagrams of these data that you are actually having on the UI, on the Fiori app. There are a lot of Fiori apps, okay, for managing resources, managing products, managing capacities of a resource, right, and managing suppliers. I think there are a lot of apps within this Fiori tool itself, which again connects back to S4 database itself. Whatever the data that users are giving as an input through this SAP S4 HANA, I think analytics again can be performed on top of the same data. But as you are saying, it is an offline is being implemented. I also need to study that how it is working. But this is a cloud product. Okay, S4 HANA is S4 HANA. Speaking about ERP, it is available in both cloud and on-premise. But Fiori is purely a cloud product, which again needed the internet access. Without internet access, till the date I haven't heard of it, but I'll check that and I'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, basic architecture of SAP APO. So, any of you know what is SAP APO earlier, or came across or got an opportunity to know what is APO? Sandeep or Vipul? Hello. Okay. So let me explain what is APO first. SAP APO is Advanced Planning and Optimization Tool, which is a purely planning system where you send all the data, all the master data from ECC to APO, and then plan all the supply planning modules in APO, and then the supply plan back to ECC. What are the modules that are available in APO? Is demand planning, okay, production planning and detailed scheduling, supply network planning, global availability to promise, transportation and vehicle scheduling, as well as a spare parts plan. These are all the modules which are available in APO right now. So what do we do with demand planning part of APO? We send all the sales information from ECC to APO. Demand planning can take past data, for example, it will take past years, 2 years of data, and using various forecast methods or forecast models existing within the APO tool, it will generate a forecast for the future years. Okay, This is a purely demand planning tool. It generates a demand or a forecast plan for a particular product. Okay. And supply network planning, what it does is it actually plans whole supply network, right from the vendors to customers, the whole chain. It tries to match the demand at different locations based on various programs or various functionalities available within supply network planning. It plans entire network. Okay, it tries to match the demand with the supply element. Okay, supply network planning. Coming to the PPDS, PPDS also does the same thing, but there are few differences when compared to supply network planning and production planning and detailed scheduling. The name itself indicates it is purely concentrated on production planning, especially at a plant and resource level. It is complete focus is on production, where it tries to manage the material requirement plan, tries to plan material requirements as well as a capacity requirements as well. Unlike our SNP, it is completely focused on that and also in a detailed way. Okay, supply network planning you can plan only at a day level. Okay, but coming to a detailed scheduling and production planning, you can plan any product or any resource at a minute and second level. Even at that detail, you can manage your resources or manage your products, plan your products at that level. That is one basic difference between your supply network planning and a production plan. Okay. So, Sandeep, you mentioned that you are new to PPDS, right? So, you're new to APO. Is it making any sense what I'm explaining, or you want me to go in detail on a general level? Hello? I can't hear you if you're speaking. You're on. Hmm? Hello? Can you hear me? People, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, perfect. Okay, I think
So, till where? Oh, is it? So, till where you heard me?
I heard you everything. I just disconnected my Bluetooth and reconnected. So maybe that fixed it. So
And this is
I was
Vipul
asking
speaking,
a
right,
question.
Sandeep?
This is Sandeep.
Sandeep, yeah, tell me. So, you're okay so far? Whatever I explained, you're getting it?
Yes, yes.
So,
I was gonna ask a question like, what's the difference between, because in demand planning we used to have like the capacity planning or a regular thing, or the forecast
so
we used to do in
demand
the
planning,
previous ECC, right?
demand planning, you create individual requirements, right?
Mhm.
So there is a difference. Demand planning is purely based on the forecast models. There are a lot of forecast models which are available in demand planning module of APO. Okay, like seasonal model, single exponential model, best fit model. There are different models based on the data. You can select your own model and
Mhm.
use to forecast that. But these are all not available in ECC. Okay,
Okay,
there are
because
few methods available, but
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I was aware of the few methods I think were used to time phased or like a constant or some
right.
other calculations you used to do. Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
so we're just talking about models, but there are many other aspects also,
mhm.
like you can do the promotion planning and demand planning, and you can also do the characteristics based forecasting in the demand planning module. Okay, so
Okay.
all this comes under demand planning part, which is even more elaborated functionalities are available in a demand planning part. Okay, multilinear regression. There are some methods which we can use for forecasting. So all these methods are available in our demand planning module. It purely focus on only the demand planning part, even the forecast correction, forecast error correction, identifying the percentage of forecast error and identifying the forecast accuracy. All this comes under our demand planning part. Okay, general forecasting process, right? What happens initially when they pick up the data, they remove the outliers, removing of outliers, and then correcting the data,
Mhm.
and then sending it into the model. After getting the results, identifying the forecast error, and then improving the forecast accuracy. This all process can be done in our demand planning module of APO. Okay, once the demand plan is set, then we are going to plan the supply. Try to match the demand. We are going to generate a supply through various heuristics or optimizer, which is available in our S4, in SAP SNP module. Okay, through SNP module, we try to cover that supply.
Yep.
Okay, but where PPDS comes into picture and where SNP comes into picture is the thing that you have to understand. Okay, supply network is on a higher level of planning any product, either weekly or daily. You can plan a product, you can plan the demand of product, it can cover the supply, it can cover the demands. The least level possible, the least level bucket possible is day level. Okay, but coming to production planning, even at a minute and second level, the resource and material requirement planning can be done with the PPDS module. Okay. Network level planning, if you wanted to plan at a whole network level, you use SNP. You wanted to plan at a detailed plant level or particular location level, you use PPDS. Okay, it is more focused on the production part, how efficiently you can improve the production of a particular product, okay, at a particular location. Okay, all these modules are interconnected, and it comes a global availability to promise, which is again interconnected to PPDS and SNP. You see the dates of the products getting populated, right? Like the delivery date of a product get populated based on this GATP module. It check various aspects of product availability of availability of a product at various locations. It will consider at which location it is and when it can be delivered. So it will populate the date based on the availability of a product and promise a date of to the customer. Okay, that wherever there is a date involved, there is a GATP. Okay, order date. Okay, similarly the TPVS module, which is used in scheduling the transportation and vehicles while moving goods from one location to another location. Okay, all these modules are within APO, and this APO can be connected to various other systems like as I mentioned, OLAP and OLTP. Our SAP can be connected to SAP BW for reporting and analytics purpose, which is a OLAP system, online analytical platform. And similarly, it can be also connected to a execution system or SAP ERP, which is an online transactional platform. Okay, and we can also connect our APO system to non-SAP systems, and the communications happen, the data communication happen through iDocs. Okay, we send all the data from non-SAP system to SAP system through iDocs. Okay, and we can also connect our web applications. Okay, this is a general architecture of SAP APO, and now let's see what is the difference between SAP APO and S4HANA architecture. Okay, till here you are clear, right? What is SAP APO? What are we doing with SAP APO?
Yep.
Both Vipul and Sandeep.
Yes. Yeah. I got one question actually.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I know the PPDS and with the ECC, the bill of material, the standard bill of material, whether it's a single level or multi-level, it's working extremely fine. In a recent market, SAP offers the version control bill of material. Do you know if that will be applicable with the PPDS as well with the latest S4HANA capabilities?
Version specific? You're talking about planning version, correct?
No, it's a version control bomb. So basically, before you had the bill of material with the validity dates, like a time dependent. While the new innovation in SAP now, they have a version control bill of material, which basically is independent of the time, and also once is created, you cannot edit that, but you can actually copy and then create a new version. That gives you the peace of mind in terms of the design engineer not to be manipulated data with the bill of material. So my question is, the version control bomb, would that be how efficient it would be in a PPDS module?
Version control bomb, I think moreover whatever you mentioned, I can relate that to on the PPDS perspective. You're talking in the PP perspective, but coming about APO, I can say understand it or relate it to simulation versions, we have a concept called simulation version in APO. Whatever the data that you have, that can be copied, all the master data that can be copied to a simulation version, and you can simulate your plan there. Once you are okay with the plan, and you do the same kind of planning in our active version, we call it a 000 planning version, which is the active version. We do simulate things in our other inactive simulation versions and then move it to a PPDS version. But BOM, version specific BOM, I think I need to check that, because I also haven't worked on that part yet. But in PPDS, this is what we do usually in any kind of project. Okay, we always copy the data to a simulation version, simulate your production plan there, and convert that plan to active plan and send it back to ECC for execution. So is it making any sense, or
Yeah, I think
or
that
I'm
does
actually
make sense.
saying a different answer?
Yeah, no, that makes sense actually, because so when you have actually discrete manufacturing, let's say if you are making some prototypes, possibly not a good idea for the forecasting planning, because of course it's a prototype, so you don't know what materials you require. But
Exactly.
at least we can have some predictive MRP, or possibly some detailed scheduling for the prototype. For example, if you're making a windmill with a new innovative solutions, you possibly don't know what parts it will be when you're actually creating the prototypes. So does PPDS offer any planning for those heavy, complex, discrete manufacturing projects?
Of course. Is this any variable configuration involved?
Yeah, it's
Variable
usually the
configuration?
configurable material, yes.
Yes, yeah. PPDS absolutely supports a CDP and variant configuration, and we will see that. Okay, because the data setup and all we need, like where we have a material with different characteristics, and there will be a huge material, like a huge volumes of materials with configurations flows into the system. I think there is some module called IPPE, which can be executed along with PPDS. I think you are talking about IPPE data, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually dived much deep into the IBP, but
Even I
I
didn't get
heard about it. Yeah.
not IBP, IPPE. There is a separate module within the PPDS. I mean, not actually a separate module, separate altogether a different functionality, IPPE, which is run on top of PPDS, which is also part of older versions of APO as well, not only just S4. Yeah, it is possible, but yeah, just to answer on a high level, right now for planning of uh, materials with a huge characteristics or huge volume of materials with characteristics, it can be planned in PPDS. Okay, we can create materials with characteristics and send to PPDS for planning, and there is a concept called object dependencies, based on which you can based on the characteristic you can tell the system which BOM can be picked, what are the ratio, or what are the what you call the ratio of components need to be selected for manufacturing a material with particular characteristic, or what is the resource it can pick based on the particular characteristic of a material. So all this can be achieved in PPDS, but yeah, that will be very too complex to set up the data. Okay, it can be done.
Thank you.
Okay, so Sandeep, you're clear with APO architecture. I'll move to next slide if you're okay, or you have any questions here.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, now coming to the redefined architecture. As we discussed, there are various modules: demand planning, supply network planning, global availability to promise, production planning, and detailed scheduling. These are the major modules in APO. Now let us see how the architecture is actually being redefined. Okay, the modules DP and SMP modules of APO are now getting moved to IBP. Okay, here you see where sales and operations planning, demand, inventory, supply response, all these are the modules, the functionalities which are available in DP SMP are mapped to SAP IBP. SAP IBP is again altogether a different product, where more focus is given on SAP UI, okay, UI functionalities and analytics, reporting, all this and it is Excel based. If you can upload the data or download the data in Excel, it is much user friendly when compared to our standard SAP GUI. Okay, and the algorithms are also very different from our SAP APO. Okay, so all these DP and SAP modules are now part of integrated business planning SAP IP. Okay. Now coming to S4HANA, GATP and PPDS are moved into S4HANA, and now they are called as Advanced ATP. GATP is now called as Advanced ATP in S4HANA, and PPDS is called as a ePPDS. It's called an embedded PPDS. Why it is called embedded? Because it is integrated within the same ECC box. Okay, we don't have to have a separate APO box. Okay, in the APO architecture, you see ERP is a separate system and APO is a separate system, and both are connected through CIF core interface. Okay, now this core interface is eliminated, and APO and ECC fall within the same box. You see here this slide. Within S4HANA, you have PPDS functionalities as well as the rest of the ECC functionalities, rest of the ECC modules like PP, MM, FI, everything are integrated within the same box. Okay, without any core interface. Okay, so this is a redefined architecture of S4HANA. Let us a little bit deep dive into more into the architecture. Okay, so here if you see, this is a traditional system where SAP APO and PPDS run on top. We have a live cache, the run on type. Live cache is which is connected to our SAP APO. Okay, live cache in memory, and you send the data, all the master data from ECC to APO here to the core interface. Okay. Now coming to the version of S4HANA, reinvented business S4 process. As I just mentioned, if you see S4HANA, you have a master data and advanced planning functionalities like PPDS and ATP. And SIF is also an integrated part of this S4 only. You don't go to a different system. This is what I just explained. And SIF is SAP claims that SIF is SAP when coming up with the system, SAP says there is no need of core interface, but there are still some master data which needed a core interface. But as we move on to the training part, I'll explain for what SIF is needed and what kind of data we don't need SIF. I'll explain in some time. Okay. Okay. So these are the deployments that you can use, various types of implementations that is possible with the S4 HANA. Okay. Either you can use a completely fresh implementation where the client is completely new to SAP. Okay, they are using a non-SAP system or an SAP system. They wanted to convert to S4 HANA. So we can use for those kind of scenarios. SAP implementation is possible. Okay, it have a standardized and simple existing landscapes which data can be mapped, and new implementation can be complete, fresh implementation can be done. Okay, another way of implementing is system conversion, which they are running, which they might be using, client might be using a ERP system, SAP ERPs, or any other non-SAP ERP systems, and we can convert the data, whatever they are already using. We can just map the data to our S4 HANA tables and then migrate the data, and you can convert existing processes into S4 HANA process by making small changes in the SPRO configuration based on the industry. Okay, and complete landscape transformation also is possible. Okay, so these are the all three types of transition scenarios where you can implement our S4 HANA. So any kind of scenario, this probably we can say this, we can say that in any kind of scenario you can try to implement S4 HANA. Okay. So customers migrating from legacy, this is the same thing that we discussed in our previous slide. Customers migrating from a legacy system can do the implementation. Okay, convert current system S4 HANA without re-implementing or no disruption of existing business process. How this can be achieved in system conversion is so without disturbing, how you can implement S4 HANA is, for example, when you are implementing S4 HANA, there might be, for example, let us say you have a running business in Canada, or you have a running business in UK for the same client. What you do, you select a particular business, okay, or a particular set of data that you wanted to convert to S4 HANA. Do that in chunks. Okay, that is possible. Only for that chunk of data you can do the implementation in S4 HANA, and rest of the business still runs in the older version or ERP version or in APO. It still runs in APO, but the new plan for the particular set of region or particular set of data that you wanted to implement in S4 HANA, that runs in S4 part. Okay, so in this way, the existing business process cannot be disturbed, need not be disturbed. Okay, that is a point in that is a point of explaining the system conversion. Okay, and selective data transformation, as I just mentioned, you can select the data as I mentioned in phases, in phase approach. Okay, like just I mentioned, you can select the chunk of data that you wanted to implement. Okay, and there are various deployment options like on-premise, hybrid, and on cloud. Okay, you can install SAP S4HANA at your premise, or you can use a cloud product, take the cloud license, and you can use it, or you can have both. Okay. So, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Hello, Arvind. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I have a question on this on-premises implementation.
Yeah,
Hello,
go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
If we talk about on-premise implementation, so as you said in the last slide, it's embedded PPDS,
Right.
right, in S4 HANA. It's
Right.
already built in. So if we implement this PPDS, or if we active on S4 HANA, so
Mhm.
if is it being paid to S4 SAP, or it's free for S4 HANA users? If a
Single line.
company has S4 HANA implementation and they want to active PPDS, and there is a module configuration area as well. If we want to active this PPDS, so is it free, or it's
Not,
amounts or
like
some
kind of.
amount to be paid directly SP?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I got your question. It is not actually free.
Yes.
When I mentioned, I mean, I understand your question. It comes with S4
Okay.
HANA
Okay.
license itself. If you buy the license for S4 HANA, you can take the license.
Yes.
It comes under this license within S4 HANA only. It is like a whole package only. Okay, you don't have to buy a separate
Okay.
license for PPDS. Okay, but for optimizer, I believe you need to buy a separate license. As far as I know, but rest of the functionalities will still come up within your standard package of our S4 PPDS.
Okay. Okay. If we talk about the licensing, so it's for optimization or optimizer. You're saying we have to purchase from SAP for optimizer
I,
using. But if
I think we have to
if we
take a
yes,
separate
that's I
license.
think you are not clear about, you're not
Yeah,
clear
as
about
far
it.
as I know,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, because I'm not expert in
Okay.
that area, so I don't have much information on it. But on a high level, as far as I know, this is what even the case with APO also, you need to buy a separate license for PPDS optimizer. But I can check this part. Okay, whether it comes with PPDS optimizer comes with direct licensing S4 or not, because optimizer runs on a different server altogether. So
Okay. 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 I have another question.
yeah, go
Like,
ahead.
if we talk about PPDS, so if we have active this PPS, and same licenses we have purchased for SAP users like S4 HANA PP module, we are using uh, multiple licenses. So same licenses can be used for a PPDS, or we have to purchase some other purchases for users as point of view.
That part also I'm not
Got
aware.
my point?
Yeah, I got your point, but
Okay, okay, okay.
company wise,
You are
I
not
don't
clear,
think.
but
Yeah,
there is a
license wise, I'm
confusion.
not sure.
My friend said you have to purchase, or you have to pay some premium to the SAP, but I was not clear about it. So I just
So
asked this question for your if you were clear about it. Can you please
um,
confirm it
no,
from SAP or some major
yeah,
authorities? As this
um,
is a major concern for our company as well. We are working in a pharmaceutical company, the largest company of Pakistan. It's Gas Pharma, but we
okay.
want to active PPDS in our firm. So my company, my CFO director, also pushing us to active PPDS and implement this. But we are not clear about
Okay, do you have
how to proceed it.
SAP Launchpad?
Yes.
I think you must have it. I think you can post this query directly to SAP. I think they are the best.
Acha, we should
What is
directly
this?
approach to SAP
Right, right. That is the way
Germany.
you have to approach.
Yes.
Yeah, approach SAP. They will provide you. They will get in touch with you for the details of and discussing the schedule agreements between SAP and your company. And they also, if you also wanted the support from SNP, they also want what are the charges and what are the timings. All this can be discussed within the SLA agreement. Okay, I think you have to approach that way.
Okay. Okay.
That is the best way. Okay? Try to just
Oh,
post a query in SAP Launchpad. Okay, just submit the incident there with all your queries. They will come back to you and schedule a call with one of the expert. Okay, and you
okay.
can post all
But
the
but
queries.
my management is more concerned about the premium. They are just want they just want us to have some trial areas, like we have just copied a client for just PPDS activation, and to present them how it will proceed and how it will be used, and is it really fruitful for us, for our company, or not. It's totally a question for our management. So we
And may I
we
know,
are just trying to show some
sorry, who,
trial basis demo. Yes, sorry.
sorry to interrupt. Trial base also they can
Okay.
provide you some pilot access. If I'm not wrong, they will give you the trial period also to see whether this is actually S4HANA is actually helpful for your business or not. And you have implementation experience in PPDS.
I have one experience in our last firm, but
Okay.
it's a totally different for our company, because we are using 2021 FPS S4 HANA. So it's a new for PPDS implementation. So we are just trying to have some demo to the management, and how it will proceed, and how what are the main areas we can go for our improvements in our business. So it's a question for us. So we
What
are
you have to
trying to
you have to
work for it.
identify your business processes first, okay, and then you
Okay.
need to try to map that in the PPDS. We are not. There are many other aspects.
Okay.
Just not
Okay.
PPDS. Whatever from whatever I understood from what you say is you are speaking more at a higher level, either in the finance part, licensing part, and these parts are maybe as a PPDS consultant you may not be able to answer this. Okay, even in these trainings also you will not get answer for those 2 points. But the third point you mentioned, the PPDS, whether PPDS is
Mm.
apt for our current business or not, maybe for that you will get an answer in my training. Okay, because this is a PPDS training which is mostly focused on PPDS and how you can configure the tool, or you can use the tool based on a particular industry and how you can configure it to particular industry. Okay, I can show you all these configurations and various scenarios that you usually do in PPDS, like how to use heuristics, how to use optimizer, and what are the various functionalities that are there in PPDS, like DS board. Um, how to use these functionalities and how you can configure these functionalities. Maybe you will get a perspective in this PPDS training, but the other points, I think that is on a much higher level than PPDS consulting. So yeah,
Going
Okay.
to
Okay.
going to PPDS scope, can you quickly share the items like the agenda or
so I'll
for the
share it.
uh, next few, I mean, how the classes will be and etc.
Sure, yeah. Let me share that. Let me know once you see my screen and back to screen share again.
We are almost out of time, 4 minutes left, so that's why. Sorry to interrupt.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So coming to the agenda, coming to the contents. Okay, so we already covered in the demo comparison of S4 HANA fundamental for supply chain. So these are all. S4HANA overview we will take care. Order cycle, what is the order cycle in the production planning, and what all the, we will cover all the ECC master data part, right from materials, bombs, recipes, or routings. We'll cover all the kinds of master data. Similarly, ePPDS master data, I mean, both are almost same, but there are few differences. I'll show you. And the basic configuration, basic system configuration. When you are given a S4 system, you have to make ready the environment, or you have to make the configuration for specific industry. How to configure your PPDS, and what is core interface, and what are the SIF error handle, how to rectify any core interface errors. Okay, and what are the various heuristics that you have, various profiles that you have in PPDS. We will cover that, and we will also show what is the process flow in the PPDS. Okay. Similarly, we will understand what is a product view, what is a production planning run, and what is a production planning table, what is an alert monitoring, and what is a detailed schedule board. Okay, and how to create. These are most important when you are implementing any project. You have to understand how to create a background job, or how to manage background jobs, how to create process chains. This is one of the crucial part of any kind of project. We will discuss that as well, and some high level scenarios also. We will discuss what is a make to stock, what is make to order, and we'll discuss various types of heuristics. There are a lot of heuristics which SAP provided based on our requirements. We will discuss few of them, and we can discuss what is a characteristic dependent planning, how do you plan a material with characteristics in PPDS, and we will also discuss a PPDS optimization.
Yep. When going through number 16, background jobs and etc. Are we gonna go through the like tables and which items to take and as an example?
Table level is not necessary. If you have a program, if the only criteria there is, you should know what program you are running. That should be fine. Okay. If you know the T code or a program, then that is fine to create this background. If you don't have to dig deep at a table level, that is not necessary. They're much easier than that.
Okay, as the question is, as part of this training, are we gonna go through like tables, at least like the main ones, and to show like how to manipulate and how to edit the functionalities, send it to our web developers to.
I can give you a list of few tables, okay, but I can give you the few list of few tables which can be used very frequently in analyzing or debugging any kind of issues. But table level, talking about my trainings are mostly focused for a production support kind of a role, or an implementation kind of a role. Okay, table level is okay, but when you are actually doing some code changes or making some enhancement, that will be useful. I can give you a high level overview of some tables. What is the kind of information you have?
Got it. I was thinking about like a analyst level,
Sure.
like
rather
than an app.
You can do that.
Good, but yeah. Okay, thanks.
I got one question here. You mentioned on a number 4, ePPDS master data. So is that something different in ePPDS and
no,
the
it's
PPDS?
not different. I think this need to be. This is little different when I say there are few things which come in S4. I'll show you that right away. I mean, I think we actually exceeded some time. I thought to show, if you are okay, I'll show you this. Just some parts of data are little different. I'll show you what are the differences in GC master data and APO master data. So do you have time, like 5 minutes? It won't take much time. So I wanted to cover
I mean, as far as I know, yes, I'm ready to stay.
I might have to leave. I'll be chatting with Naveen.
Okay, no worries. This can be, again, I'll cover it. This is not much different, to answer your question. But there are few differences, but we will understand that while we are creating the data or while we are generating data, but most of the aspects are almost the same. Okay, there is not much difference. I think this can be removed. Either one of these we can keep here, and 3 or 4, anything. I think we can remove the row number 3. I think this need to be, the sheet need to be updated. That's it. Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions? Yes. Okay, I think if you don't have any questions, I think we can close the session for today. Okay, I'll wait for your response. Naveen.
Yep.
Hello.
If at all we're gonna go through this, the timings you're thinking around this time or a little bit, just curious.
So, okay, timing. Who is this asking? Sorry.
This
As part of training, we do provide training videos, PPTs, SAP S4HANA server access for 3 months, certification materials, SAP Pressbooks, assessments which helps for the certification, training materials, interview questions and answers, sample. Thanks for watching demo. As part of training we do provide training videos, PPTs, SAP S4HANA server access for 3 months, certification materials, SAP Pressbooks, assessments which helps for the certification, training materials, interview questions and answers, sample resumes. Thanks for watching demo.